I did an interview yesterday on this cable vision channel, and this young man, he said to me, he's a young kid right out of school, he said to me, I'm going to ask you some really tough questions. I'm going to make you sweat. So I was just at an interview. He said, he started asking me things like, why should I buy your book? You know, and I said, I don't really care if you do. I just wrote it, and if it's out there, and if you want to get it, fine, and if you don't, that's fine with me too. And he said, well, how is your book different from anybody else's book, and what makes it better? And what do you say to all of the people out there who say that you're just peddling, positiveness and trying to make other people feel good, and you're making money off of that? I said, they may be right. I said, he said, that's what you tell them? I said, yeah. And then when we were off camera and we were walking out, he was a very nice young man. He said, boy, you just skirted right away from all of those tough questions. And I said, no, there's no such thing as a tough question when you are what Maslow called independent of the good opinion of other people. When you are beyond the need to be approved of, when you are beyond the need to have somebody else think that you're terrific, when you have slain your ego just a little bit. And believe me, I work on this hard, all right? And I'm just scratching the surface on it, all right? But as I get better and better at it, I find, in the Course in Miracle it says, if you knew, and underline knew as know, all right? If you knew who walks beside you at all times, you would never experience fear again. If you really knew that all the things that Deepak and I had talked about this afternoon, that this universal intelligence is there, that the universe will handle the details, that it's all perfect, that it's in order, if you really knew that, and weren't consumed with anything else related to your ego, you would be so free. It's like somebody would come up to you and call you a jerk, and you'd say, you got a good point there. And someone else would think that they didn't like the way you said that. You say, that's fine. And you're looking at two people, and many of your questions ask that. You're looking at two people who get a lot of criticism from our professional organizations, from people out there, from colleagues, from people who are disaffected with that, from fundamentalists, from it's all over the place. And it's like when you talked about those three things about purpose. When you know you're on purpose, it's like that old Chinese proverb, that the taller the tree, the harder the wind blows. The more you get up, the more wind you're going to see coming your way, and you just sort of let it go. It gets very peaceful.
There are certain features that distinguish these people that I'd like to define for our audience.
Sure, do it.
The first one is that their internal reference point is not their ego, it's not their image, but it's their immortal spirit, which is without beginning and without end. The second is their internal dialogue is not, as Wayne was saying, what's in it for me? Their internal dialogue is, how can I help? The third is,
that's a great mantra, by the way. How may I serve? How may I serve?
How can I help? Because if that's dharma, if I can help, then everything that I do out there, give out there, it comes to me, back to me.
Yeah.
The third characteristic is that there is wisdom and security in insecurity. That one should factor in that life is, by definition, uncertain. And it's a miracle that sometimes in that field of uncertainty we introduce an intention and magically appears. But if we relinquish our attachment to all the time want things to be in a certain way instead of how they actually are, then that's struggle. There's an expression I heard a long time ago, I don't even remember who said it. The person said,
probably me.
Probably. Maybe it is. When things don't seem to go my way, I let go of my idea of how they should be, trusting that I do not know the picture, the total picture. Because if I knew it, I'd know it's okay. So that is the wisdom of insecurity, the wisdom of uncertainty. And then, of course, the behavior of people who experience timelessness, it's spontaneous, never in anticipation of a response, never for approval, never the need to control. External goals go away, internal goals become much more important. Material goals are important, but they should not dominate our internal goals, which are the need to love, the need to be loved, the need to acquire wisdom, the need to discover our spiritual identity. And then finally, as I said, it is that there is loss of fear of change. Because all fear that exists is the fear of mortality in disguise. It's the fear of change. Get in touch with that part of yourself which is beyond change, and then there is no fear.
It seems to me that fear would disappear in our lives completely if we knew that that divine omnipotence that flows through everything flows through us. If we really knew that and had that awareness and lived with it, that then there's always, of course, the issue of do you just walk through life and not worry about anything, not be consumed with anything, because everything's just all handled for you and just taken care of, or do you, as Jung put it, he said that's an enormous paradox that they talk about in the Gita, that's cleaving the opposites. He put it this way, he said, all of you, at the same moment that you are protagonists in your own life, making choices, at the same instant, you are also spear carriers, or the extras, in a much larger drama. In fact, he said, and he studied this for a lifetime, he said, you are doomed to make choices. So you've got to live with both of those opposites, and when you sort of cleave that opposite, you get very peaceful and you get purposeful, and it doesn't mean that you're resigned and say, oh, there's starvation in the world, so I won't be concerned about it. What you do is you don't get attached to it, and you don't tell yourself that it shouldn't be happening, and you say, yes, indeed, it must be a part of the divine plan, but so at the same instant is my desire to end it. So both of those are existing. So that's what you go with, your desire to end it. And you don't become one more part of the problem where you're just judging it.